Hello YouTube family, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to my channel. I'm Daphne Chabalala, a South African working and living in the UK based in London. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we talk about the eligibility criteria. What do you need to be considered for this health and care worker visa, particularly if you are a healthcare assistant. I'll keep on saying particularly for a healthcare assistant, just because this is a short-term measure according to the UK government for healthcare assistants. But if you happen to be a nurse, a doctor, a podiatrist, any other role that you fulfill within the healthcare sector, stay tuned. This is applicable to you too. If you are a nurse and you are looking for information on how to come over to the UK as a nurse, please drop me a line in the comments below so I can make you content that is specific to you. This is also relevant and specific to you. However, there are a few more steps to follow and to take for nurses to come over to the UK. I'm more than happy to provide you with that content. I will be doing it in the near future, but more so and maybe more sooner if I see that you actually need the information. I'll be more than happy to provide you with that. Let's crack on. So according to the UK government, what comes at top of the list of the requirements for anyone to be eligible for this visa is that you need to be a qualified healthcare professional. So if you're a radiographer, podiatrist, physiotherapist, dentist, medical doctor, nurse, your qualification is important. A healthcare assistant, your qualification is important. On the subject of healthcare assistants, I have said in the previous video, there are provisions that are made. Not everyone is looking for that qualification. Some employers are looking for people who have senior high school qualification. If you have passed your high school and have the relevant experience, what they're looking for, the necessary experience, they are looking to make an exception and accept you without the formal qualification as long as you have the relevant experience. I have detailed that at length in the previous video. Feel free to watch that video if you haven't seen it to familiarize yourself with what could be counted towards your qualification or what could add to your experience as somebody that can be recruited, even though you do not have the necessary qualifications if you are a nursing auxiliary or healthcare assistant. The next requirement listed is that you work for an eligible employer or employer that has been approved by the Home Office, as well as be in an eligible job. An eligible job is one of those jobs that are listed on the UK's government's skills shortage list. So by virtue of you being a healthcare professional, rest assured you are on that list. And if you're not a healthcare professional, please familiarize yourself with that list. Just go onto the UK government website and Google the skills shortage list and look up the skills shortage list. There are many search engines. I'm not sending you to Google alone. My apologies. This is not a sponsored video by Google. So yes, look up the skills shortage list and see what other professions or categories, sectors are listed by the UK government as being hard to fill. So the second requirement is that you work in an eligible job, which we know the healthcare sector or any job in the healthcare sector is an eligible category, as well as work for an employer who is approved by the Home Office, which is like the home affairs, if you will, of part of the government. So I do not see a possibility at all of any employer that is going to waste their resources, their time recruiting you, giving you an interview and giving you a job offer when they know that they are not approved by the Home Office. That will be a waste of both your time and their time. And many an employer have gone out of their way to seek licenses from the government in order to be able to recruit abroad. I'm just giving you the overview of the behind the scenes of how things work as far as that requirement is concerned. So I think in many ways you are reasonably safe if you do find somebody who's saying they're recruiting you. Just look them up as well. There's a whole lot of information online to verify all this information for yourself. Are you finding any value in this video? If yes, please consider subscribing, making this your home away from home. Share the video, like, comment below. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to address them. If I have not covered adequately a particular aspect of this video, feel free to comment below and let me know what aspect you'd like more clarity on. Contact me, I'll be more than happy to get in touch with you. In the meantime, hit the subscribe button. Swiftly moving along, the next requirement is that you have a certificate of sponsorship, which is referred to often as the COS. This is basically a letter that states that your employer is sponsoring you, they're going to have you work for them, and they're sponsoring you. As well as this requirement, there is a minimum wage that the government states that you need to be paid before you come all the way from your country, wherever you're coming from, Ghana, Nigeria, Philippines, India. The UK government wants to make sure that you are not taken advantage of, which I think is such a great thing in the era of modern day slavery, where people are shortchanged and where people are taken advantage of, especially being with the lucrative promises of being promised greener pastures overseas. So yes, it is a requirement. On your certificate of sponsorship, it will be stated how much you're going to be getting paid. The minimum wage that the UK government wants for you to get paid is £20,400, if I'm not mistaken, but it's a ballpark figure. It's in that region. I will double check it for you, but it's in that region. So you will be paid about £20,400 per annum in a role of a healthcare assistant. So that is another requirement to be met. So they will not have you come and work for an employer who is going to pay you less, because it's a known fact the cost of living, like in most countries, is expensive. So for you to be able to live comfortably and carry on with your everyday life without being a burden on the state, that wage is considered to be reasonable to help you get along. Another requirement which is needed is the proof of the knowledge of the English language. Proficiency of English is important. Mind you, this is a requirement by the government, not necessarily by your employer. So this is criteria you need to fulfill for your visa to be issued to come over to the UK. Many employers are not too fast. I think they're just happy if you can just communicate with the residents at the basic level. But the UK government wants to at least kind of standardize and make sure that people are at a certain level of communication of English before they come over. So to test that knowledge, there are several ways. One of the few ways is the Ielts, what they call the Ielts exam, which is something that you undertake at a chosen center. They've got centers all over the country, really. Different countries, they will have their IELTS centers. So this was mine that I undertook in 2017 when I was coming back to the UK for the second time. And what it has basically is a photo of you, your details, and further down here, it will have the scoring on the ability to speak, to listen, to read, and to write, as well as the overall scoring there. So the back has got different bendings, and it tells you somebody of a band 9 has such and such proficiency, somebody of a band 4 has such and such a proficiency. So to come over as a healthcare assistant, your bending should be 4.5. It's a scoring system that they use, should be at least 4.5. It is thought that if you can score 4.5 in your IELTS exam, you are able to communicate proficiently with the people you're going to be providing care for, which you can understand is quite important. It's a very engaging job. You're not going to be sitting in the basement somewhere capturing data on your own. You're going to be interacting with people on a daily basis, your colleagues, your residents. You're going to be writing reports. Documentation is all part of the job. So you can see the necessity for this. If you need more information on IELTS, I'm more than happy to assist you with that and to guide you along the way. And because you're coming into the UK for a period of more than 6 months, a TB test will be required. Screening for TB will be required. Everybody undergoes it. I had mine done in 2017 when I was coming. Same thing, your photo, information of what test was done, whether it was a sputum, whether it was a chest x-ray, your signature and their signature. There are centers all over in any country really where you can go. There are approved centers by the UK government. You can't just go and do your chest x-ray in a hospital of your choice. You need to go to a dedicated center. I've seen a few in South Africa. There's one in Pretoria, there's one in Durban, there's one in Cape Town. In fact, I don't think there's one in Durban, correction. I don't think there's one in Durban, but I've seen one in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Pretoria. So look up on the website and go to a dedicated center. Don't make a mistake of going to a center chosen by yourself, because their report will not be accepted according to the requirements of this country. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about the need for the police clearance. Before I do that, have you subscribed? Have you shared the video? Have you clicked like? Write your comments. Do you have any questions? Feel free to drop them below. I will be more than happy to answer them. In the meantime, subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you can be notified when I bring you the latest content as to how you can bring yourself over to the UK in 2022. Last but not least, there's a need for you to provide a police clearance from your home country where you come from. It's referred to as a DBS, Disclosure Barring Service here in the UK, but in essence, it's a police clearance to say you are not a fugitive, you're not running away from any criminal activities, and you're going to work with vulnerable people, mind you. So it's a necessary thing to do for people to clear their minds that they are accepting into their custody somebody who is trustworthy, at least from a standpoint of the police clearance. And of course, the last requirement, I've made it last because it's so variable. Not everybody is very strict about it. It just depends on what your employer offers you. So this requirement is that you need to have proof of funds in your account, funds that are going to be reflecting or showing that they have been in your account for the past 28 days, funds which are going to show that you're able to support yourself for the first month before you get paid whilst you're in the UK. I say this because some employers on your certificate of sponsorship will state that they will take care of you in that first month. Therefore, this falls off and it's not a requirement, as it did for my certificate of sponsorship. The employer had written there that they were going to be taking care of me for the first few months whilst I arrived in the UK. So I did not have to produce any proof of funds, but it's good to be prepared. Just be ready just in case it's a provision you do not get. Have funds. More details on this in the next video. In the next videos, I plan to tell you about the costs, what you can expect to pay for what you need to pay for any of these things I have mentioned today and more, as well as who is recruiting. So stay subscribed, stay tuned as we remain on the cusp as we evolve together on this journey of self-discovery and growth. Remain on the cusp with Daphne, where inspiration meets evolution. Thank you so much for staying tuned. See you on the next one pretty soon.